Hello everybody, welcome back to the pit with Jeff. I forgot to turn on my microphone on this one, so I'm doing an overdubbing to see how it works out. So I'm trying to use the program UCut. So what we've done here is we've got the cowl all mounted onto my dad's P-51 Mustang. And let's see, what am I up to? Getting my box of Forstner bits, and I used Forstner butt and went in and drilled the ends of the cowls for the exhaust, and then I just took the Dremel with the cutoff wheel and went along and cut the straight edges out for the exhaust stacks. And then we used our bendy drafting thingamabobber from Stadler. I can't read what it says on there. But anyways, we took that and we bent it around the cowling and lined up our edges as best we could. I'll bring you in a little bit here to see what's going on. Lined up the edges there. Yeah. Oh, we're even getting you in closer. Let's see how this all works out. So we take our little tool there. It's perfect because you can line up the edges and bend a good curve. And we'll set it up for our gap, and that's what we used. Drew a pencil line, and then took the razor saw and carefully gave it a little cut all around the edges there so that we could take the cowl off. Now let's see what I'm going to be doing here. I zoomed you guys back out. We had filled all the bottom edges, got those all sanded pretty well. Same thing, took a razor saw, cut the edges out. I'm getting a hernia. Flipping over the beast. Yeah, let's see what we're up to now here. Oh, I guess I built up the edges on the fiberglass cowl there. And now where am I gone off to? Oh, I used the chop. I don't know if you can look in there, but it's just like a cut up fiberglass cloth. You buy it as a chop. It's just little fine strands. Adds a bunch of strength, and with the epoxy, you can make up a good little mix to fill in some holes. Use some plywood with some packing tape on top as a little backing for it. And let's see what else we're up to here. My brain must be working on something. I'm looking at something. Let's see where we went to next. I don't know. I was probably telling you guys a story about stuff. Which I notice on my videos, I start telling a story and then I trail off onto something else. So that could just be my, maybe I'm getting the sometimers. I might be talking about putting on, I guess it's actually called the chin cowl, the part that where my hand is sitting. and making tubes and stuff to hold the front of the chin cowl down. But I ended up making a bracket out of a piece of aluminum and screwing it to the firewall. Maybe I'm ahead of myself. Maybe I didn't do it on this video. We'll have to wait and see how this turns out. This is a surprise to me as it is to you guys here. I think talking about the edge there, we had used the, there we go, brain fart again. The chop and the resin. Oh, almost took you guys out. Hit you in the head with a wingtip. It's coming along. It's getting pretty close, I would think, to throwing some primer on. Hopefully we get some warmer weather in February, because a couple years ago I got some photos where I had the Mustang outside, my Mustang outside, and I was spraying primer on it in the middle of February. But I don't know, looks like I'm still talking about probably there's still a gap there. So maybe I mixed up some more of the micro balloons and epoxy slurry, which we'd be putting in there. Not too sure. Let's see what happens. I'm looking at something. I'm looking at something again. I always forget where I put stuff. Yeah, that's what it looks like we're gonna do, is maybe mix up a bit of slurry. I'm not too sure. Oh, my wife's old cards that she had. That's what I was showing you guys. She used to do, well, she's an artist and that. She'd have an open house and try and sell some of her art and that. Some of the invitations, I just kept them all because the cardboard's good for mixing epoxy on and stuff. So we just use the cheap dollar store 5-minute epoxy for this. It's fine. And use some micro balloons. And again, I've used the just some Scotch tape, packing tape, to make just to tape off the edges so nothing, you don't get the cowl sticking. I imagine I got the cowl taped off with the Scotch tape there on the edge, because I need the slurry mix to be more stuck to the fuselage part where there's a gap. So I guess that's what we're might be mixing down there. I'm not too sure because I'm going through the watching this as it's in the U-cut site, and I can't make it bigger to see what I'm doing. But there we go. There's some goop made up. I'm just using the old bamboo skewer to use as a mixing stick, and just as it, after you've hardened it, if you don't wipe it off, you just break it off, and you can sand another point on it if you need to, or whatever, and keep using the stick until she's pretty well gone. If you're a plastic modeler like me and like building plastic models, sometimes I keep a lot of the long pieces of the trees for and make up stir sticks and stuff where you can grind down the edges to different designs, to different patterns, to get into different spots there. Looks like we're having some fun filling in the old gaparoos there. It's kind of sticky stuff. You got to kind of work with it. It sometimes as you go to pull your mixing stick away or your applicator away, it wants to lift it with it. I don't know if the silicone spatulas and then that you can get from Michael's would work. I've seen some people using those as applicators for plastic models, doing body, like a little bit of filler and stuff. But I most of the time I keep the old gift cards, credit cards or whatever, cut them up into strips. Sometimes you can round off a corner if you want to do like a fillet with your body fillers or whatever you're using to help you with establish the curves that you want. But yeah, we just keep poking away. I must have made quite a bit, or there's quite a bit of a gap. Well, looks like we might be done there. Oh, going over to the second side there. I think one side wasn't too bad. No, looks like we're going to tackle some more. So we're working on this edge here. We're working away on her. Trying to get it into the gap. And trying to get it work it a little bit under the cowl so that you can't see the space too bad there. And get the filler and give it try and get as much wedged in there as you can to get a good base in there, because a lot of it'll flake off when you go to pull things apart. And it'll cure up pretty quick, so just keep working it in, keep pushing it in, try and get rid of any bubbles that you might get. Might get some little air pockets. And just plugging away. Make it look like you know what you're actually doing. Make sure nothing's ran down the other side. As long as you make the slurry pretty thick, it's pretty good. And with the micro balloons in there, it sands pretty good. I don't know if it would work the same as if you used the baking soda in there. I know we used the baking soda was the old trick for baking soda and cyano for if you had some big gaps and stuff in some of your joints maybe. So it looks like we're happy with that. Stand back, examine it. I think I'm talking about cutting out the side vents. I have to research what those were for. I can't remember now. I know the front, I imagine, was intake. Maybe it was just to let air out on the sides there. A lot of the full-size ones have them blocked off now. I think I'm just trying to wiggle here. Oh yeah, I put a little bit of slurry in the where the wing fillet does a weird little joggle and joins into the wing. So I got to work on that. I glued my dad's canopy frame back down, but I didn't know if it was. Not sure if I want to keep that canopy or not, because I don't know if there's got a lot of marks and stuff on it now, and I don't think a lot of it would buff out. But we're pretty well getting there. The gaps are looking pretty good on the the cowl. Brian Taylor just had a screw in each end of the cowl on each side, and then the one that you have to go right from it's a pain in the ass because you got to take the spinner off, prop off, and then I think I've showed you my dad's long tool to reach down and get in there. And then I'm just showing you, I think I'll just take the Dremel. We're gonna grind out a little bit more of those dings in the cowl, get a little bit more bite for some filler, get working on that. Give the cowl a good sand down and get some of the details to show up in it. And we're doing pretty good, and probably, what am I probably saying? Probably fill in my rivets that are a little too deep on the sides, and get ready for a bit of drafting tape on it. And hopefully, like I said, got some nice weather. Drag the compressor and the gun outside and do some spraying. I don't want to do any spraying in the house because I'll be using probably the 2K primer. It kind of stinks a bit in the garage. A little cold yet, even though I got some heaters for it. It's just easier to wait for some nicer weather. So call that a time.